Hi, everybody. A little bit different location today. I was able to get out of the basement and get upstairs. Just wanted to talk a little bit about where I'm at with Veve, some of my other things, and kind of the future of what I'm going to be doing. So a couple things. The hats, which I have one on here, they've come in and I am shipping them out starting Monday. So look for those. Really excited to get those out into people's hands. I appreciate you for being patient for everybody who ordered one. I will be doing some other merch as well. Maybe not hats, something else. I just have to get these out. I've learned a lot during this process. I probably need to be more efficient in a lot of areas. But either way, lots of fun, and I appreciate the support. Another thing which happened today, which was, fantastic, is David Yu actually tweeted back at me. So I put out a tweet congratulating myself, I guess, on getting the Daredevil number 41. As you know, 41 is generally known as the first publicly available mint. And so I was super excited to get that one. I grabbed it in the marketplace. It was a little spendy, but I thought it was worth it. And he congratulated me with an interesting tweet back. He said, first published edition number 41. And I thought that was very interesting because as a collector, obviously I've heard a lot of different terminology throughout the years. And that particular set of a way to describe something I had not heard. Obviously we've heard, the lowest mint. Obviously we heard something like the first that's been published on chain. But that particular terminology was different. I only say it because he is the CEO of the company. And what he says and the things he says does matter. So perhaps I'm reading too much into it. But it is interesting. And, on this channel, I've talked a lot about terminology. Mainly because I think the way that we describe things through language does matter. And when you're talking about collecting, I think terminology and language does equal value because we know certain terms equate to value. First appearance, first cameo, first edition. So those types of things matter. And so I found that very, very interesting. So I think that, they told us that they're going to release some, not all, but a couple of the mints 1 through 40 through giveaways and other things. And so I fully expect that. I do think the 41s will have value. Maybe they'll represent some sort of OG status or something like that. And I do know that I specifically have gone after the ones where there are collectibles and there's only one rarity or one pose. So I have this Silver Surfer 41 and the Daredevil 41. Not to say that the others aren't as interesting, but for example, Thor, which has all those different poses, what's the most valuable 41? I guess probably the secret rare, but it does make it a little bit more muddy. So that was interesting, and I do think, and I've talked about this before, that it's going to be a combination of a lot of things that create value for a particular collectible in the end. So, for example, in comics, you have the CGC grade, which you're familiar with, the 9.6 or the 9.2. But if you're not as that familiar with it, there's also another thing right underneath it if you look very closely, and that is the page quality. So is it white pages? Is it cream pages? Is it off-white? And so that's another differentiating point. And collectors really want those white pages. So now you wonder, we have the mint edition. Are they going to be able to include other things like how many transactions this particular collectible has gone through on the blockchain? Or, of course, when was it printed on the blockchain? So those types of things are going to matter. We just can't see those things, but now that the metadata is coming out, I think we're going to be able to do that, and there may be websites or tools that allow us to display that. Of course, if it's in-app and other areas, that could matter as well. That's why this is kind of interesting. We don't know. We're literally living through this as it's kind of being put together, and things that we may think are important, like I thought the mint number 41 was important, maybe that's not as valuable as something else. I think there's definitely a feast or famine type scenario here. Or maybe not. Maybe that's too extreme. But I've chosen to take a couple chances on these 41s, so we'll see if that pans out. Definitely fun as a collector, though. You always kind of want to get that premium or best or most rare collectible. For now, these are some of the most rare versions of it, so we'll see what happens in the future. A couple things in terms of this channel, and wanted to talk a little bit about the future of it. So, as you know, I've really moved to one video a week, and that's been working for me with my current kind of crazy life and work schedule with my kids and other things. I've really appreciated all the support that I've gotten. I'm going to continue to make videos, and more, I do and have, and I've tried to document this on this channel, do believe in the longevity of Veve. And you can see them once again. Another incredible con. The New York Comic Con just got finished, and they were front and center in the Veve, in the Marvel booth. And it's interesting. There was even Marvel representatives there that were talking. Obviously, even on their main stream, they interviewed Reese, who's a Veve representative, and the Mighty Marvels were there front and center. I do believe more and more. As we move forward, obviously we're in a difficult time with recession and other things, but digital collecting is going to grow bigger and bigger. Now, is that a segment of the existing physical collectors? I don't know. I still think that physical collectors are going to do physical collector things. It's a brand new world, a brand new audience. Obviously, it's exciting because, it's in Europe, it's in Australia, it's in Asia, it's obviously here in the United States. All kinds of countries are interested, and there's certain areas that it's not been opened up to. Veve hasn't been opened up to, and the more and more I look at it, I really am very bullish. Now it's difficult, I know, with the amount of different gems that are being put into the app and all kinds of different type of metrics that I talk about on this channel. So we don't know when the tide is going to turn, but I definitely think this is a thing here to stay. We have a good core group of users. I think they're here. If you look at any of the metrics in terms of like Veve Fox, who collects, looks at the top 100 wallets, what are they doing? 99.9% of those people are accumulating. So those are core users that seem to be here in the darkest times, if you want to call it. They're accumulating. So it's very interesting. And the community seems strong. You can see that at all these different cons. And I will announce that I am going to be able to come to Anaheim. So if you're there, definitely stop by, say hi. I do have a couple extra hats that I'm going to bring. So if you want to look at trying to purchase one of those, I'll bring those to Anaheim, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe you want to grab one. And definitely stop by, say hi. I have got so many different conversations running with so many different people over Twitter, and that's been really fun for me. Hopefully, I've learned a lot from these people. They've learned a lot from me, and that's really what we're looking for. It's just building this community more and more and enjoying each other, having fun collecting. And so I'm really here to stay. It's more and more I think about it. It just has been fun. I think about a year ago is when I started my kind of big switch over to Veve. Is it going to work? Is it not? And I think, once again, nothing is for sure, but it definitely seems to look good. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon.